Hello, 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 everyone. Let's see who is going to go ahead and join us on this new year. All right, I'm going to go find us on Facebook here and share with our friends so we can make sure everyone finds us. Okay. Make sure we're live. Yep, we are live. We are in the right place. We are good. All right. Groups. We need our VIP and our team. Okay, we are now live in all the places. We're also over on YouTube. If YouTube is better for you, you can find us there. Hey, Sue, so glad you could join. Happy to see you. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. That is extremely helpful. All right, real quick, couple things. Paper Pumpkin, again, we are in the January subscription period. You have until January 10th. If you are interested in the January kit, it is called Special Delivery. It is going to come in this really pretty floral box. It's going to make 9 cards, 3 each of 3 designs. You'll receive 3 different coordinating envelope designs. You'll have pre-cut paper pieces with gold foil accents. And the coordinating colors are going to be Blueberry Bushel, Bubble Bath, Darling Duckling, Garden Green, Mossy Meadow, and Poppy Parade, with your ink spot being Poppy Parade. In addition, you can get these beautiful bloom dies as an add-on while supplies last, and those dies will coordinate with the entire quarter's worth of Paper Pumpkin. So it'll coordinate with January, February, and March. So if that is something that interests you, you'll definitely want to look into that. Also, if you are on my mailing list, you probably already saw my friend Cindy and I have releasing our Valentine class. Oh, hey, Barb. So glad you could join. Hey, sis. Happy to see you. We have released our Valentine class. It is featuring tonight's product that we're featuring, the Valentine Kisses Bundle. For that class, you will receive bolt of the bubble bath ribbon. You'll also get a quarter pack of the designer series paper, made with love. And just to give you a show of what this paper looks like, you're going to get a quarter pack, which would be this right here, this little bundle. It comes 12 by 12. We cut it down to 6 by 6. It's easier to ship it that way. B, it's less expensive to ship it. But you still get a nice selection of all the papers in this little pack. And there's some really beautiful patterns here. Love it. And you're going to get all the materials to make 4 cards, 2 designed by myself, 2 designed by her. And the cost is $45. You can add on the bundle for $54 with no additional shipping. And it is this bundle right here. But I will tell you, tonight's class is a free with purchase class. And because this bundle is $54, it does entitle you to this. If you purchase this bundle in my online store between now and the 15th, you're going to get tonight's cards, kits. And then if you sign up for the class, you already have the bundle, and then you'll get the class in addition for another $45 with the ribbon and the paper. So just something to think about. It's kind of like a little double dip. If you order this, you automatically qualify for the card kits. And then if you order the class, you'll get everything for the class, and that'll give you 7 cards, because 4 for the class and then 3's of tonight's class using this bundle, and you'll be all set and ready for Valentine's Day. And of course, these kits go out on the 20th, as long as you place your order between now and the 15th. And then, of course, the card class that Cindy and I are doing, that ships on the 19th. So they will show up together, basically. So you'll be able to make 7 cards. All right. So that is my housekeeping. If you're not already on my mailing list, make sure you do sign up. That is in the link in the description of this video to get on the mailing list. And yeah, that's it. Okay, let's get rolling. So this is our first card tonight. These are the cards we are making. And isn't this little... They're just so stinking cute. I love them. The little bear. I think he's adorable. And check out these little smoochy bears. And then there's this here bear. I guess we'll start with this card first, because that kit is sitting on top of my pile here. So we're going to start with this one. And we have a Flirty Flamingo card base to start. And that's 8.5 by 5.5. Scored at 4 1/4. So we'll go ahead and grab our bone folder. And we're just going to go ahead and smooth that out. It is a great value for this bundle, Stu. I 100% agree. And it's so just too cute for words. Just saying. And for those of you on my team, Sue, you will receive the tutorial for this card class that Cindy and I are doing as a perk for being on the team. So that will be coming to you via email when we're finished typing everything up. All right, so I have a piece of the designer series paper. This is cut 4 inches by 5 1/4. And we're going to go ahead and layer that onto our card base. And that'll go in the center of our card here. Well, thanks for sharing, Barb. I appreciate that very much. Okay, so there's our first layer. Next, I have a piece of Poppy Parade. And I have here the Hearts of Love 3D embossing folder. And I did go ahead and run that through already. I have a piece of basic white that measures 3 inches by 4 inches. The Poppy Parade layer is 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And they are going to layer just so. So we're going to go ahead and add some adhesive. And then we shall layer these up nicely like so. Look how pretty that embossing folder is with those little hearts, and they're like in little rainbow shape. There you go. You can see it like so. And you could actually take your blends and color those rainbow arches in, so you'd have like rainbow colored hearts, and that would be really pretty. Be fun, especially if you had patience. Oh, hey, Kay. So glad you could bake it. All right, so for this, we're going to add to our card, and this just goes on the center of our card. This little panel here. So that's going to go right about there. That looks pretty centered. Let me make sure it's straight. There we go. I kept that flat because I do pop up our bear when we get to him. So we got that card base all put together. So we have our nice little layers here. Then I have a scrap piece of pumpkin pie or pecan pie. Ah, can't speak. And I have pecan pie ink here. And I have my little bear. He's already mounted on my block. And we're going to ink him up in the pecan pie. And we're just going to stamp him on the pecan pie cardstock. So we don't even have to color him or anything. We kept this card super simple. So there he is. He's just so cute. We'll close that up. Put that there. All right. And then we are going to find what I did with the dies. So we are going to pull out the die that coordinates. We're going to get that all lined up. And I think I left the plates for the baby boss over on my desk. So I'm going to have to go grab those or we're going nowhere here. Whoop. Get him to line up here. Oop. There we go. So he's all lined up. Let me grab those plates. And while I'm over here, let me grab a piece of white too. I don't see. Okay. Baby boss. And our sweet little bear. And we're going to run him through. And you're going to see the way this bear cuts out. He cuts the slit. So when you want him to hold something, like in this case, he's holding a bouquet of flowers, it cuts the little slit so the flowers will slide right in there. So he's holding his little bouquet. So you'll see that in just a minute. So we're going to set that aside. We're all done cutting him out. Next, I have here some bubble bath. And with this, we are going to stamp our bouquet. And for that, we're stamping. Actually, I didn't really use that one. Did I? No, I used the Poppy Parade. Which really needs to be re-inked. But we're just going to ink that up. A little bouquet. And stamp. So there's our bouquet. And while I'm doing the bouquet, we're also going to cut out a heart. So we're going to get this bouquet lined up. Okay. And bring back our baby boss. We have our bouquet and our heart. I'm going to run them both through. So there's our flowers. We'll set that up there. And we need our little pokey tool to get our heart out of the die. There we are. We're going to set that aside. Then we're going to take some Flirty Flamingo. It's just a scrap, just big enough to fit our heart. We want a heart cut out of the Flirty Flamingo, the Bubble Bath, and the Poppy Parade. So we're going to get that. Set that aside for another project. Grab our heart. All right. And our final heart, we're going to die cut from our little scrap of Poppy Parade. Get on there like so. And run it through. Oh, thank you. Okay. They're actually getting kind of ratty. Went and had them done before Christmas, and then I spent the Christmas week prepping for Christmas, and I wore them right to a frazzle. As a matter of fact, this one I kind of just did myself with some beetle stuff that I found on Amazon. I'm going to stop going to the salon and start doing it myself because the salon is getting crazy. Every time I go, it's more money. All right, so we have all of our parts and pieces. Well, almost all of our parts and pieces. We still have to do our sentiment, but we have our bear, and then we have our little bouquet. So we're going to go ahead. All right, where'd Tucker? Oh, okay, he just jumped up on the couch. Boy. Anyway, so we're going to tuck our little bouquet of flowers into our little bear's hands. Just like so. So now he's holding his bouquet. You see, they're there. All right, so now we're going to take dimensionals. Oh, yours are ready. Can't be any readier than mine. So just going to put a couple of dimensionals on my little bear here. And he's going to go right about there. Then I have my little hearts. We got 1, 2, and 3. Oop, so I'm going to put that in there. That one's probably going to go right about there. Okay. And they're all going on dimensionals. So take a dimensional. He's going to pop up right about there. Flirty Flamingo heart. That's going to go right about there. And then we have our bubble bath heart. There we go. So there's all of our little hearts. Now I have here a scrap of basic white, and I want Bear Hugs and Kisses and my Poppy Parade ink pad. And we're going to ink that up. So there's that. And then to cut that out, we are going to use our perennial postage dies. Where did I put them? Right here they are. And it's this little label die right here in the perennial postage. And that, we're going to go like so. Bring back our baby boss. That plate, start to knead it. All right. Put our Bear Hugs and Kisses and run it through the baby boss. There's our Bear Hugs and Kisses. We'll set that there for now, I guess. And for that, we're going to need a couple of dimensionals. And that will go right here. And that finishes our first card. Isn't he adorable? Love him. And I got to tell you, the cards that Cindy and I came up with for the class, super duper adorable. Just gonna say. All right, card number 2. Another one that I absolutely love. Look at the little kissing booth. Is that not the cutest thing you ever did see? So we have now our little bears, and they have their kissing booth. So we're going to pull that one next. So for this one, I have a thick, basic white card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and fold down that score line. Use our bone folder and burnish that to a nice crisp edge. Okay, next I have a couple pieces of that designer series paper. I have the X's and O's, and I have this pink arrows, and they're so cute. X's and O's is 4 by 3. So it's 4 inches wide, 3 inches deep, or I should say 4 inches long, 3 inches wide. And that is going to go on the bottom of our card base right here. And then this one is 2 1/4 by 4. And that is going to butt up against the X's and O's. So we're going to go ahead, put on our adhesive. And we're going to go for 3 equal borders here. That looks pretty good. Then we're going to do the same thing And I know this doesn't really look very directional, but this paper, the X's and O's definitely is if you look at your heart. So if you want your hearts going in the right direction, you want to make sure you are paying attention to that. Same thing with the arrows. Again, really looking at it, it doesn't really look like a directional paper, but if you look at your hearts, those little white parts in the background, they're pretty much going in the one direction. So again, paying attention, you can get those going in the correct, so that they're not upside down. So now I'm just going to butt this up against the X's and O's, making sure everything's nice and straight. Just like so. And that takes care of that. Next, I did use the largest circle in the Spotlight on Nature, from the Spotlight on Nature dies, to cut this here circle out, a basic white. And that's going to go right on the center of our card, like so. So I'm going to use some dimensionals to place it. And it's sticking to me. There we go. And we'll put another one in there for good measure. Okay. So now that's going to go right here in the center of our card, like so. Oh, you're welcome. I'm glad you like it. Hopefully it helps too. Well, it tastes good. Okay. Next, we have oh, yes, I have some scrap basic white for stamping. This is for our sentiment. And I have some Poppy Parade for our, actually that's real red. I take that back. Real red for our kissing booth. And I have a little scrap of pecan pie for our little sign that's dangling off our kissing booth here. So we are going to put this all together. All right, so we're going to start by, let's go ahead and stamp our bears. All right, we're going to start with our little chubby bear here. I think he's so cute. And where did I put? Did I? Yeah, there it is. We need our Memento black ink pad here. And we're just going to ink him up. He's so cute. But he is a chubby little bear that's in love. Then we're going to go ahead and stamp him like so. Isn't he adorable? And then we're going to get our little bear here with her little flirtatious kiss happening. And we're going to ink her up in some Memento black ink as well. I'm going to stamp her right down towards the bottom here, because then we're going to use the top part to cut out our scallop for our kissing booth. All right, so those are stamped. We will, while we have everything stamping, we'll do that as well. Where is, here it is, our little plank here for the kissing booth. We have our pecan pie. I ink that up. And we're going to just stamp that right there. Oop, let's flip that over. That didn't stamp very well. And let's try that again. There, perfect. And then we're going to close this up. While I have the memento right here, we're going to get our X's and O's to put on our plank. We're just going to stick that in right there. There's our X's and O's, indicating it's our kissing booth. And I think that's all for stamping. All right. So now we just have some coloring and die cutting to do. So we have pecan pie. And I have this light 900 that is from the Skin Tones. And then we used Flirty Flamingo, light and dark, for our little girly bear here. All right, so we're going to start with our little boy bear, and we're going to start with our dark pecan pie. And I'm actually going to use the bullet tip rather than the brush tip, just because I'm just going to do little swirls of color right where you would expect him to be throwing shadows because of the like right here around his arm. There would be dark shadows caused from his arm. Same thing right here. His arms would shadow under his belly. And again, just using little circular under here, under his belly. His leg is being shadowed by his belly. And again, just little swirly circles. And then maybe do there. And that looks good. Then I'm going to take the light pecan pie, and this time I am going to use my brush tip. And starting where I put those dark shadows, that's where I want to start my coloring so that I can kind of draw out and blend. And I forgot to shadow that part of his arm, which we'll go back and do that. You can still add the shadows after the fact. It's not a big deal. Come around his ear. I needed to shadow his ear over here too. I missed. But again, not a problem. Pull that color. Same thing here. Almost done here. And then we're just going to add a little more of the dark. Again, using that bullet tip. I'm going to come in here. And then right there. I wanted to add a little more. And same thing. A little bit more under here. There. And then we're just going to add a little of that light 900 in his ear there, and then right here on his muzzle. You could certainly leave his muzzle white, but I thought we'd color it in. So there's our little bear there. And now we got to do our little girl bear here. So she can sit inside her kissing booth. And again, I'm using the Flirty Flamingo, light and dark. And nothing says you can't have a pink bear. We're stamping here. This isn't Wild Kingdom. So we can have any color bears we want. And I wanted her to be pink because I wanted to bring out the pink in our paper. So again, I'm using that dark. And we'd expect she'd be throwing shadows. We're just putting some color. And then we're going to bring in the light. Color her in. Come back with that dark again and just so. And again, that light 900 inside her ears, her muzzle. And we're going to take that dark Flirty Flamingo. And I'm using the brush tip, just to get a little kissy lips there. Okay. So now we need a few dies here. We need our little bear, our little puka bear here. There we go. And get that all lined up. Like so. Then we need this little guy, or girl. And we're going to make her I use that a lot too, Barb. That circle die, the Spotlight on Nature. They are definitely a staple in my crafting. Okay, so there's her. And we need our little scallop piece. So we're going to put that on there too. So, and oh, can't forget our sign. So we'll get that lined up. Like so. Okay. Now we need our baby boss. Our plates. We'll start with our little chubby bear here. Set that aside. Then we need our little sign. Run these through. So there's our sign. And these pieces. And next, we need our real red, or Poppy Parade. And our pieces for our little kissing booth. So we're just going to put those on. Bring Baby Boss back up. Oh. All right, there's all our die cutting. Okay. Put these up like so. Put that in our trash. These out of the way for the moment. And bring everything back in. All right. We are going to remove all of our tape here. So we have our bear. We need to get all of our pieces out of the dies. There's our little ruffle. Little bear. Okay, I think that is everything. This gets set aside for a minute. All right, so now we need our little glue here. And I'm just going to add a little. Oh no. What do I do? Well, we may have to. Oh, here it comes. Hmm. Well, looks like we have a big old. All right, so we have our little bit of glue there, and then we're just going to add our base. and attach those just like so. Maybe get it a little bit straighter here. All right. Next. Oh, we need to poke out our little hearts here. Now you can save these little hearts for another project. Because you have all of these little hearts left. So I'm just going to set them up here. And now we still have one stuck in there. There we go. Okay. There we go. All right. And then same thing. We are going to just flip that over. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along there. And then my little bear, I'm going to stick her. And then we want some dimensionals. And then I put one on her and right there just to help reinforce. There she is. Nope, I forgot to put her. We can do that. We're just going to go ahead and just put a little bit of glue there. And we'll just add her scallop. So there's her scallop. And then for her little sign, I just used a glue dot. So I'm just going to grab a glue dot. And that is, oops, looks like it's just kind of like swinging there. And then our little guy here. He is going to get a couple of dimensionals. I know the kissing booth is adorable. The artists who designed these stamps, I will tell you, they really didn't miss any details here. They did such an awesome job. All right, so there's our cute little bear. And now we just have a scrap piece of basic white. It's about 3/4 inch wide. Just needs to be long enough for giving you a big smooch, which is right here. And we are going to use our Poppy Parade. I really got to find my Poppy Parade refill and get this re-inked because this is so dry. All right, giving you a big smooch. Just like so. Close that up. clean this off. Yes, Sue, they are amazing. What they come up with is mind-blowing. Take our snips, and we're just going to cut at a little bit of an angle here. It doesn't have to be totally exaggerated, just a small angle cut like so. That goes into the scrap pile. This gets a dimensional or two. Do two. And that goes up here. Just like so. And then, where did I put? Tell me, I did not bring the rhinestones over. Son of a biscuit. All right, I have to grab rhinestones. Just a moment. What did I do with the rhinestones then? If they're not. Okay, they got to be in here. Right here. I did bring them over. They're just hiding. Well, thank you, Sue. Wait till you see the ones in the card class. All right. So we're going to take this. We're going to put a little rhinestone there. Another one here. And a larger one. Whoop, right there. And there is our card. Oh, thank you, ladies. I am so glad you like these. All right. We are on to our final card of the evening. And that's our Bear Hugs and Kisses with his little pot of honey. Again, the designers of these stamp sets, the artists that do these, they missed nothing. I mean, we've even got the little honey pot. They've also included, we've got two little birds. You can make your bear an angel. So you got angel wings here. We've got the little kissy lips, which we're going to use. There's a little baby bear here. You could actually have the bear holding his little teddy. I mean, the ideas are endless. It doesn't have to be just Valentine cards. I mean, these could literally, you could turn them into birthday cards. All you have to do is change up your sentiments. I mean, giving you big smooch, you could be sending that as a birthday card to one of your grandchildren. Bear Hugs and Kisses. Again, just thinking of somebody. And again, pull out your birthday sentiments. Pull out your thinking of you sentiments. And you can make this set work. So 100%. Yes, Cupid. That's true. You could be making Cupid out of your little bear. But we're coming off Christmas. I'm thinking angels. All right. Let's see. We have here a thick basic white card base, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and registration for that class does close on Tuesday night. And so you do have a little bit of time. And like I said, if you're on my mailing list, you did get the information. It will be going out again. I think it went out again today. It'll be going out again, I want to say Tuesday as a final reminder. So if you missed it and you want to get in, make sure you sign up because this is going to be a good one. All right. Bubble bath, 5.5 or 5.25 by 4. And for this one, I do have my little kissy lips here. So they did include it's one stamp with 2 little lips on here. And we're going to use our bubble bath ink pad. And we're just going to do some random lip smacking on here. And we're just doing it on the right because as you see, we have a panel here on the left that's going to hide anything there. You just want to make sure you're kind of turning your lips in different directions so it doesn't look too, I don't know, random. And they're just light colored lips. Just to add a little texture to our card here. Put right there. Okay. So those are our little lip kissers. All right. Set that aside. Now we can go ahead and add our adhesive and add this to our card front. All right, next I have a piece of Poppy Parade. This measures 2 inches by 5 inches. And then I have a piece of the Designer Series paper. This is 1 3/4 by 4 3/4. Right? Yes. This is the paper that we're going to use here. It has the hearts on the back side. So the little dashes up front. There we go. Then got this pretty faux linen ribbon in bubble bath. And what did I do there? Just going to use a little bit of the tear tape. But what we're going to do is we're just going to run back down the center of this panel. And let's get a little bit of tear tape. A little Scotch tape will work too. All we want to do is just anchor this ribbon in the center, running the full length of this panel. So I'm just going to add that to hold that down like so. And then we're just going to run it down the center. Like so. Get that centered. Then we're going to use our snips. Cut that. And then we need another little piece of that tear and tape. Again, just to hold that in place. Like so. So now we have our ribbon run here. And next, we're just going to tie a little bow. So we're just going to bring this in. Try to get that to cooperate here. All right. Okay, and then we're just going to fuss a little bit and get our there we go. I think that's pretty good. So we'll go ahead, trim our tails. And then this gets some dimensionals. And this will go onto the left side of our card. Like so. Next, I have a scrap of the Darling Duckling, scrap of the Bubble Bath. Those for your little honey pot and for our heart. And then I have a scrap basic white for our bear and our die cut for the sentiment. So we're going to start with our little bear. And he's our bear that has the ability to hold something. So we need our Memento black ink again. And we're just going to stamp him in black. Clean that off. And we need, again, our pecan pie and our light blend. So we're going to start with our pecan dark. And again, same places we did before. Pretty good shape there. Try to get him colored in pretty quickly. Looks like it's time to replace this one. It's not the ink, just running out of ink, but the tip is getting a little shabby. Of course, I've been coloring with it quite a bit. There we go. What we're going to do is muzzle. And his ears. So there's our cute little bear. He's all happy. And then we need his coordinating die. Ooh. So get him all lined up. There we go. All right, so he's lined up and we need a perennial postage dies. And we're going to use this square here. So we can bring back the baby boss. Those jeepers. We moved that all around, didn't we? Sugar. Good gravy. I guess that's good. Hate when that happens. All right, we gotta get that. Oop, sorry about moving the camera. But we have to get all this stuff cut. All right, so now we have our sentiment piece and we have our little bear. So we'll set those aside. What the heck was that? My husband must be doing something downstairs. I just heard something like, I don't know, like an avalanche just occurred. I don't know what he's doing down there. Lord, help us all. All right, so now we need our little honey pot, our memento ink. There's our cute little honey pot. Cover that up. And we need our little heart. Oop. Honey pot and the heart. All right, get the honey pot lined up. Okay. Baby Boss is back. Honey pot. And our heart. We'll need to pop that out of there. There you go. Okay. And then the last thing we're going to do before we start assembling is we are going to take our little sentiment piece here. And we need the Bear Hugs and Kisses. Bear Hugs and Kisses. And I'm using the Cherry Cobbler ink pad. I'm going to ink up Bear Hugs and Kisses. And at the top of this little postage shape, we're going to stamp our Bear Hugs and Kisses. Just like that. Clean this, close that up. All right, next, a couple dimensionals. One on each side. And that is going to go right over our ribbon. Just like so. Next, our little bear. He's going to hang on to his heart. Like so. So that goes right in there. I'm just going to add a little adhesive to his head area and a dimensional down below. And now he is going to just sit here. He's going to have one. There we go. Honey Pot gets a dimensional. And that's just going to sit down here by his foot. And that finishes our final card of the evening. All right. So again, it's Valentine Kisses is the bundle. And these are the 3 cards we made tonight. And again, place an order of $50 minimum on my online store before shipping and tax, and I will send you everything you need to make these 3 cards. And we also have a class open. Cindy, from Stampin' the Wild Way, and myself, we've collaborated, and we've got 4 really super cute cards using this group of product. So, anywho, thank you, ladies, for coming to hang out. I hope you enjoyed these little Valentine treats. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And in the meantime, I wish you all a fabulous rest of your evening and a better week ahead. And God willing, I will see you next week with some more Stampin' Fun. Thanks, ladies. And again, have a wonderful rest of your week.